Well, welcome everybody. I really appreciate you all taking the time to join us tonight for this really exciting study, ProPEL US 41. We're going to go through a few introductions here really quickly. I'll give you an overview of the ProPEL US 41 study. We want your input. I know I've already chatted with a few of you tonight. We'll talk about how we can get your input now and the next steps moving forward. So my name is Dan Miller. I am the HNTB, which is the consulting firm in charge of this study, and I'm the project manager. Cam Shu is behind me. He is from HNTB as well, and he is the communications manager. So we're doing this study in coordination with INDOT, the Indiana Department of Transportation. They own the study. They manage the planning process, and they evaluate the recommendations that will come later in the study. The HNTB team, we will complete all the outreach. You will see us out here a lot. We're going to be out at least 2 times a month. We'll be coming to community festivals, events. Cam's going to go over that in just a minute. And we'll also conduct all the technical work. So you all might have watched, those here in the room, the video over here, but I'm going to play this video for you all.
Every day, more than 100,000 motorists travel along US 41 through Terre Haute. This important corridor is a vital connection for our community, economy, and future. This high volume of traffic underscores the need to assess the corridor's current design and plan for its long-term effectiveness. What if the future of transportation wasn't just engineered, but envisioned together? Introducing ProPEL US 41, an initiative by INDOT that's reimagining transportation planning through collaboration, creativity, and community engagement. Data-driven and fueled by public and stakeholder feedback, this 2-year study is focused on improving safety, mobility, and opportunity along 12.5 miles of US 41 in Vigo County and the city of Terre Haute. Also, this study is taking a complete streets approach, designing the corridor so it's safe, accessible, and welcoming for everyone, whether they're driving, walking, biking, or riding transit. Using a process called Planning and Environment Linkages, or PEL, INDOT is taking a thoughtful, collaborative approach. This means looking at how road improvements can support local goals, like economic development, land use, and quality of life, while also addressing safety concerns and considering environmental impacts. Over the course of the study, we'll carefully analyze the corridor at multiple levels, from traffic patterns and safety data to community needs, goals, and design possibilities, building a clear picture of how US 41 can serve us now and into the future. But the most important part of this study? You. ProPEL US 41 is designed to listen, to gather your feedback early and often through community outreach activities, public meetings, digital tools, and one-on-one conversations. Over the next 2 years, your feedback will guide key decisions, from early ideas to long-term solutions. Your participation at every milestone is essential, helping to design a corridor that reflects the needs of the community well into the future. Visit ProPELUS41.com to stay informed, share your feedback, and get involved. Whether you live, work, or travel through Vigo County and the city of Terre Haute, your voice matters. We're exploring what's possible when innovation and collaboration drive transportation planning. Smarter transportation, stronger communities. Together, we can propel Vigo County and the city of Terre Haute forward.
So again, that is available online. If anyone wants to share that with anyone, ProPELUS41.com. As you saw in the video, the study limits is about 12.5 miles of Terre Haute and Vigo County, going from Harlan Drive up to Haythorne Avenue. So what is this study? This is a PEL study. This is not a construction project. It's a study to gather feedback and come up with ideas for the vision of the corridor. I know I've chatted with a few people tonight that were asking about alternatives and what we were thinking. We are not there yet. The unique thing about PEL is this early engagement so you can be part of the study. That being said, INDOT is looking to maybe adopt the planning documents and subsequent environmental review processes. What that means is the documents that we put together for this study, when we get to projects, we can reutilize them so they can be as efficient for the state as possible. Again, Early public engagement is a huge part of this study, and it is critical to the success of the study moving forward. The input will be used to build smarter transportation and a stronger community. And I know you all that have walked through already, you can see we have different stations for drivers, for pedestrians and bicyclists, for people using public transportation. That's because this study includes what we call complete streets. We're looking to make sure that we can make US 41 as good as possible for all users. So here's a very high-level schedule of the study. Right now, we're just starting that vision and collection data. We're going to look at the spring of next year, early next year, to get to the purpose and need. After we gather all this data, we see what the needs are. We'll come up with what's called the purpose and need of the study. And then after that, that's when we get into the alternatives development. And there are going to be 3 rounds of alternative screening, because we start with what's called the universe of alternatives. And that's everything that's out there. And then there'll be a second step where we narrow it down, and a third step where we narrow it down further. Your engagement at all parts is really critical to the success of this study. And finally, we're looking to finalize the PEL report sometime in the spring and summer, mid-2027. I do want to clarify that is the end of the study. That is not the project process. So after the study is done, the state will utilize the study to go into what's called the call for projects. They'll develop projects and move those into the call for projects, which is about a 5-year process to get through design, the environmental process called the National Environmental Policy Act, any sort of acquisition that's required, et cetera. So it will be a little bit of time before you see projects come forward on this corridor as part of this study. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Cam to talk about your input and how you can get involved.
Thank you, Dan. And again, everyone, thank you all for coming tonight. Appreciate it. A lot of what you're going to hear from me is repetitive from what Dan said, but at the same time, we can't emphasize it enough, because this study is data-driven and is fueled by your feedback and based on what recommendations or needs or things that you know and experience along the corridor is what we look for. And that's only going to help us and NDOT prepare better to improve this whole stretch. So as mentioned, the key to the study is the feedback from you. How are we going to use it? We use it to, as you see it there on the screen, identify from your standpoints, opportunities and concerns. And in addition to not only what you experience, but your neighbors, your friends, businesses you frequent, any kind of feedback or interactions you can have to get the conversation going and gather what you feel, what the community feels is the needs and the improvements to this stretch. That can only help, to the last point, inform our study recommendations as we move forward. Now, how is the feedback gathered? Perfect example is what we're doing tonight. It's called a public information. We're actually going to call them community conversations moving forward. This is our first one. As mentioned, we're going to have a number of them through the rest of this study. Some of you might have hopefully received in the mail at this point what you see on the screen there. It was a postcard sent out to talk about this. We will continue to do more of these. We will also have our website that was mentioned. A lot of you, as you came in, went through the registration of our PEMA site. That's great that you'll be getting information as we progress along, and it's also a place for you to log on and put additional feedback that you experience. We'll have community office hours, as mentioned. These will be a lot more informal, where we'll just have about an hour or so of areas along the corridor. We're going to try to get to as many places over the next couple of years where that the community can come, whether it be a library, whether it be a coffee shop, just public gathering places where we can have you come in, have some quick interactions like what you're doing here, but just much more informal and much more personable. And as we move along, we'll also have more concrete information that we can kind of hand to you and spread throughout the community. And then lastly, as touched on earlier, we're looking at any kind of fairs, festivals, community events. Obviously, we got started after the summer swing happened, when a lot of the fairs and festivals, but we are targeting those for the next year. And also we're looking at events that happen not just summer, throughout the year. So the next steps, again, reiterating, we have all of these website and social channels for you to engage with. We have a lot of promotional pushes that will be happening through our social channels, through our LinkedIn, but absolutely the ProPELUS41.com. That website, it's always being updated. It's always ever flowing with information. So please be sure if you have a question at any point or if you wonder what's happening, go to that website. Check out all the information. We have a calendar on there where we'll be able to be posting what will be coming up throughout the month, as well as our direct outreaches, and it will have an opportunity for you to leave additional comments if you have it. Now, our doors open at 5 o'clock, so a lot of you have been here for the last half hour, so you already know what the next steps are, but for those that haven't been able to hit every station, we have 3 different points of contact for you here. We have one station that is essentially for drivers or traffic, station behind it for pedestrians and cyclists, and then a station in the other side for public transportation. And please, we'd love for you to be able to hit each of the 3 stations. We have the roll maps. They're the same schematics, but they just show different lines based on whether it be public transportation with bus stops and bus routes or bike pedestrians. But please hit every station, have your questions answered, write down your thoughts and ideas at wherever the intersections you feel need the most attention. And once you've gotten through every of the 3 stations, if you haven't been able to register through PEMA yet, please hit that station and on the way out. And then any questions you have along the way, we have plenty of subject matter experts stationed at each of them to help kind of direct you in any questions you might have and provide any guidance. And if we're not able to answer it, connect you with the people that can. But with that being said, we thank you for coming out and hope you're able to get more of the questions you might have answered.